Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob. Today is Sunday, May 18th. Markets are about to open here in about 25 minutes. I want to go over my weekly levels that will give you kind of a roadmap on how to trade the NQ and the ES this coming week, and some tradable action levels that you can take some trades on to hopefully get some profits out of this week as well. But all of that coming up right after the intro. As always, nothing that I state on my channel is financial advice. Trading futures or any type of trading is risky business. Any capital that is put out there is at risk for loss. All right, so we are on here to a new week. We've got some pretty high impact news, some headlines even over the weekend I'm going to be very interested to see how the markets react here at the open. Kind of want to take a look and see how the market gaps here in about, like I said, about 20 minutes from recording of this video. When you see this video, it's probably going to be right after the open. But let's jump into the ES S&P futures. Gave you guys a weekly band update on Wednesday, and these bands have been holding up extremely well. As you can see, we pretty much had the rejection here that I thought we would probably get off of this band. We did try to break through to the top part of the band at the 59.82 down to the 59.49, and we rejected right back down to it, and we're pretty much closed right at the bottom of this band. No coincidence. Also gave you guys this new band from the 58.65 down to the 58.19. Where do we get the rejection? Right off the band. Huge move to the upside off of that band. So we've got a big chunk of volume sitting right at that 59.07, 59.08 area. And we've got some smaller volume in this lower band that I just talked about, which I can see price action wanting to come through it. Probably would have an easier time getting through this band and really looking for a big chunk of liquidity, which is sitting down here, or I should say a big chunk of volume. This is from the week prior, that opening gap, the big move, I believe, on a Monday or Tuesday here. So a lot of volume sitting down here that really didn't get traded much. So I can see that the market might want to come back and revisit this volume pocket that's sitting down here. Another band that is above where price action is at, obviously we'd have to make a pretty decent move, about 60 to 70 points to get up to this band, but this new band is sitting at 61.94 to 61.54. You guys can play this as support and resistance, supply and demand. These are just where I feel that there's a big pocket of volume that sits there, and it's an area that has shown big price movement in the past. Obviously, this band right here that got respected on Friday, and this band up here, we're going back 2 months to get to this price action. So it's not as fresh as stuff down here, which is kind of where I'm hoping that we get down to, because this is much easier. This is much more tradable, in my opinion, than a lot of the stuff that sits up here, just because of how it gets a little older price action. But that doesn't mean that we're the big money and the big players, they're not trading intraday, or I should say that they're not looking intraday moves. They're not on the 5, 15, 30-minute candle. I believe that what they're only looking at is where the volume is at and where they can fulfill their orders at the easiest point. So as far as some new tradable levels on the ES, I've got one at, let me add it right here, at 59.10. So right below where price action currently sits. Let's put this right here and let's put this to 59.10. And again, as exactly how I stated last week, you got to be extremely careful with the opening gap here that's coming out in about 20 minutes. I had a level at the 5,700, and it just leapfrogged that level through that huge gap that we had from the Sunday night open. So it's a tradable level. Just as this is a tradable level, I would love to see price action get back down to here. That would be um, what I would consider to be an A++ setup for me. But even for this tradable level at 59.10, we might gap right through it. That doesn't mean that it's still not a tradable level. It's not a tradable level at the open, but it's a tradable level that if price action gets back down to here, it might want to revisit this area at 59.10. The other area that I have sits in between this band. So I'll put this here, and that new tradable level, let's get this all right, and that's going to be a 58.55. So that's another tradable level right here that I can see price action, revisiting to it and having a pretty strong reaction to. So two new tradable levels, both pretty close to where price action currently sits, 59.10, 58.55. Make note of these bands, draw them out on your charts, and just watch price action throughout this week, and you will probably be pleasantly surprised on how they react into those levels. Taking a look at the NQ. The NQ, I gave you guys a level on Wednesday. Doesn't get any better than this one. 21,523 up to 21,585. Guys, I put out I guess two videos per week. I put one out on Sunday and I put one out on Wednesday. So Sunday is my weekly levels for the week, and Wednesday is my midweek review, which I can kind of I can add some bands for you guys and some tradable levels. So it's just two videos per week, and I don't know. As a trader, if I was looking scouring through YouTube, these are the videos that I would want to watch, and these are the videos that I would want to put these levels up on your chart. Put a separate chart off to the side. I don't even care if you look at it throughout the day, but just map them and see how price action reacts. Like I said, I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. We had the rejection of this band, almost to the point. And that happened on, I believe it was Wednesday. So this, really good rejection off of that band. We've got a band below us that price action ate through pretty quickly, again, through that Sunday night open at 21,051. So we could see price action obviously revisiting this area. Above where we currently sit, we've got another band. This price action again is about 2 months old. And that sits between 21,802 and 21,864. The bands below us, we have not been able to retest. This is the 20,475 down to the 20,0412. We still have a tradable level at 20,449 that I have still included on my chart because, again, price action just blew through those levels, gapped over them. So it's an area where I can see price action definitely wanting to revisit. And again, still would be a good tradable level. Some new levels for this week that you guys can trade off of. And the first one's going to be at, I think, right below price action, if I'm not mistaken. Let's go change this to white and make this dotted. And we've got 21,491. I'm sorry, it's right above where price action currently sits. And then we've got one below, and that's going to go somewhere right around here. And that's going to be dotted 21,328. All right, so those are your two levels. You got one above where price action currently sits from Friday's close at 21,491. We've got one below us at 21,328. Again, remember, take a look at the gap and see what price action where it wants to start off at, and then see if it makes sense going back into one of these two levels or one of the bands that we currently have on the screen. So hopefully that gives you guys a roadmap for the next few days. As far as the signals are concerned, I put out in the chat that came out with this setup Friday at about 12:03. Had an entry at 59.39, take profit 1, 59.42, 59.44, stop loss 59.35. And right as it was the only unfortunate part about this trade, it would have been an absolute perfect winner with zero drawdown, maybe 2 ticks of drawdown. I think it was 1 tick of drawdown, which is again what I love to see. It came like I think at 2:55 Central Time, so 5 minutes. Pretty much came right into the close of the day, and I unfortunately was just not in front of the charts at that time. But that really doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is the levels that I find and my entry points get respected, and my biggest criteria is drawdown. So if I see that my entry took very, very little drawdown, or I might have missed my entry maybe by a tick or two, I consider those to be A++, quality setups for myself, just because I through volume and through how I determine my levels, it just kind of keeps re-emphasizing that. And then I took a little bit more of a top-down approach on this entry. And if you guys remember, Friday afternoon, pretty much getting close to the close, there was a huge drop off. It was about a 32-point drop off that we had. Probably some bigger institutionals selling or taking profits from the pretty big move up. But you got 32-point train to the downside. And what is the only thing that stopped the train and actually had it reverse? My entry, 59.39. I mean, it's that powerful, and that's exactly what I am looking for, pretty much to the T. And I believe I had let's go to my trading floor here. If we go up, oh yeah, this is the one. I think I just showed you guys this one on the NASDAQ. This was the new weekly band that I gave you guys, I believe, on Wednesday. And you can see price action, I mean, literally to the point was where it got the rejection from off of this band. So all good signs. I'm hoping that, and this is one thing that I also put out in my Discord, is that the last few days I've been starting to see at least some more setups. And it becomes easier because we're starting to fill up volume here. We unfortunately have this huge pocket of volume that sits right here that is pretty much non-existent. So again, those are areas where I can see price action kind of running through, maybe running through pretty quickly, maybe testing out those waters to see if there's, what kind of buyers and sellers are sitting in this area. But not a lot of trades, not a lot of setups come, at least how I look at the market, because of the fact that there is so little volume, and there's not those clues that are left behind. Now I started to see more clues on Thursday and Friday because I started seeing a lot more price action, more volume, and things started to get a little bit easier once again. So I'm hoping that this week continues with that. Listen, and I don't ask this from you guys a lot in the videos, but if you're watching it, hopefully you guys get some value out of it. Hopefully it helps you with your trading, or just maybe even an overview of what the markets are kind of doing. I would always love for you guys to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. If you want to learn how to find these levels for yourself, I have a video that is posted down below that shows you guys how to map the my levels. And then I have another video that incorporates how I use the volume profile to actually find my entries and my take profits, and my stop losses, which have just been on fire the last, well, for me, the last 6, 7 months. But for the signal service that I put out about 3 months ago, they've just been absolutely great. And again, and that's the last thing I'll leave you guys with. If you want to take it even another step forward, on my Discord, there is a signal service that gives you guys the entries that I am looking at, with the entry, the take profit 1, take profit 2, and the stop loss. That's available as well. But you can do this all on your own, with the videos that I have posted on here. Wishing everybody an awesome trading week. Look forward to giving you guys some more info on Wednesday. Take care, everyone.